Ladies in Waiting, Jane Austen's Unsung Characters. This is an anthology of 8 stories, and I'm going to go over each of the stories with you. The first story in the anthology is an Emma rewrite, and I don't own a copy of Emma, so Persuasion will have to sit in. This one centers on Miss Bates. It's cute and a traditional sequel type retelling where Emma is playing out matchmaker, this time between Miss Bates and Mr. Woodhouse. It doesn't work in the canon, but it was cute. It felt familiar. The second one was a Pride and Prejudice, and that is The Bennets of Jane Street. Now, this is my favorite of all of the stories, set in Greenwich Village, centered on New York, and it's a modern retelling, so they did bring everyone up to the modern age. This focuses on Mary, and I like that she had more of a personality and is more content with her life versus needing to find contentment. I think this would actually make a really good movie as well. It was just super, super cute. The third story, What Georgiana Wants, is another Pride and Prejudice. This was my least favorite. It was a little groomy with a side of lack of counseling after the fact. Now, it was period specific and it was a period piece, but I didn't like it. It gave way too much credit to George Wickham that he really loved her and that she really loved him. Anyways, it was too groomy. Didn't like it. Up next was Sensibility and Snapdragons. So, of course, it was a Sensibility rewrite. Meg gets a story. It was, again, a cute sequel retelling, and it was fine. I've read a couple of the Meg retellings. This was fine. It was just fine. Next was the Elizas. I should have left this book up here, which again was a Sense and Sensibility. Now, this one was so different than any other retelling I've ever read because this is both a prequel, a concurrent, a sequel, and a sequel, because it covers all of the Elizas. The Eliza that Colonel Brandon initially falls in love with, the Eliza that becomes his ward, the Eliza that is born Dream Sense and Sensibility that is in fact Willoughby's child, and several successive Elizas. And I really loved this format. It was very original, and I've never read a retelling quite like this one. Really good job on that front. Up next was another Pride and Prejudice retelling. This time, it was Lydia's story. It's a sequel in the timeline, and it is a period piece. I have read a lot of Lydia follow-ups. I think she's one of the most popular people to write about and to follow, and I like this one the most because Lydia grew up in a realistic way. She doesn't stay 15, and clearly she's going to see that her life could have been different if she had made different choices. Up next, the second to last story in the book is Lace and Larceny, and I wanted to like this so much. It's Miss Bingley's story, so it's another Pride and Prejudice. It's set in New Orleans at the turn of the century, and Miss Bingley is a mixed heritage. And it was this great setup, and then she runs away to Colorado. It had so much potential. The ending was fine, don't get me wrong, but I feel like with the setup it had, it could have been so much more. And then for the last story, we go back to Emma. The Triumph of Hetty Bates. Now this is a prequel sequel, meaning that it sets up stuff that happens before the book that explains Miss Bates in the book, and then gives her an additional ending that happens after the book. It was fine. It was cute, actually, and I liked it better than the other Miss Bates story, which was the first story in the book. In the 8 stories that are in Ladies in Waiting, 2 are Miss Bates from Emma, 4 are Pride and Prejudice, and 2 of them are Sense and Sensibility. Given that none of the backup characters from either Northanger Abbey or Mansfield Park or Persuasion get a story, I wish there was more variety. That being said, I overall really enjoyed the book. If you like this book, you'd also like a different anthology called Jane Austen Made Me Do It. So as always, read the books, don't read the books. In this one, read some of the stories, maybe not all of the stories, but read it, don't read it, but please read something.